talent and something that a gift that will always acknowledge him for. But before I even talk more about him, let me say a happy birthday to my sugar, not my sugar though, but may the Lord God of hosts cause you to be established and to flourish like a tree planted by rivers of waters. Your leaves will not wither, and whatever you do, it will prosper. We love you so much from Elom and Ryan. It goes out to you, Ajete. It's your birthday today. I've got tons of birthday wishes as well. This one from the whole Friends Turn Family Squad, Makafui, Nuna, Enam, Mawena. We wish him all the best in life and abundance and blessings and God's favor. To Daniel Akoto, you're turning 40 today, so happy birthday to you as well. Now, with that out of the way, let me just come back in the studio now for me to introduce, of course, he needs no introduction, but he's my guest this morning, Hammer of the Last Two. Welcome to the show.
There you
go. Video you just saw there was Ajekum. Now, there's a story behind this video as well, which I'm going to be, Hammer is going to be telling us a bit more about. I've seen you post this video on social media in recent time. I see you commending George Quay as well about this video. What makes the story of Ajekum, whom we've heard he's passed on, may he so rest in perfect peace, what makes the story so, so close to you?
Well, you know that I do. I'm engaged in the bread business, and I deal with a lot of, vendors on the streets, and so I have a first-hand experience on what they go through out there. Yeah. And so when Ajekum tackled this issue 10 years ago, actually, it has always been on my heart, And 2019, finally, we.
So you recorded the song in 10 years ago?
Yes, 2011. So I called this rap. Everything you're hearing is 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah, so It was shelved because it was originally on my compilation album called Reprisal. Same compilation album with Abna, Papa. And so I shelved it because it had leaked and I wasn't interested in it anymore. Then 2019, he approached me and said, Hama, as a man for Penyum no, can we shoot a video? So I considered and I shot the video. After I shot the video, 2 months after I shot the video, I got a call from Ajekum's family that he has passed away. He fell ill, a brief illness, and he was taken to Koforidua government hospital, and he passed. And so it broke me, and the fact that he didn't even watch the final video. So I shelved the video totally. I didn't want to have anything to do with the video anymore. But lo and behold, 2 weeks ago, I was on George Quay, and he reminded me that 2 years ago, I mentioned on his program that I had finished this video. Yeah. So I revealed finally that this is what happened and why I couldn't go ahead with the video.
Wow.
And he dared me that it would be a good cause for the family if I do it now. 2 years is enough time for them to have finished grieving when it comes to stuff like that. So I took up the challenge and I released it. And lo and behold, when I called the family to tell them that I'm about to release it, they were so happy. The wife and children, apparently the children were sick. 2 of them were sick in the hospital, and the wife was actually sleeping in the hospital when I called. So I decided to give all the proceeds for the YouTube video to the family in perpetuity. Yeah. The children should have constant. I don't want to have anything to do with the returns. So I relinquished my everything for the children of Ajekum. And it didn't stop there. When I released the video and it went viral, people were weeping. People were literally weeping, calling me and saying, Hama, I want to donate something. My PSEC group, Achimota group, everybody is saying, Hama, give us a phone number and let us give the girl something. Yeah. I couldn't, so I summoned her. So she arrived yesterday, and we went on a couple of programs. And so now, finally, we have put a phone number out, her phone number directly, and she's also opened a bank account at Cal Bank, and so it's on. People are donating. A friend of mine from the States sent 5,000. Wow. And I think that this is in good, at least if Ajekum didn't do anything at all, he has left them something great. Yeah. And the issue they tackled is something that happens every day in Accra streets. These guys get to Accra in search of greener pastures, and they're displaced.
Yeah.
And they fall into crime. Some fall in the wrong hands. Some become victims of prostitution because of pimps and stuff. And it's sad, you know. I have a first-hand encounter with them. But luckily for me, my partner at A1, he came up with hostels. So anybody who works with us actually has to. We have 15 hostels in Accra. So when they come to Accra, they have a place to live until they have their own money and they want to move out. Because usually when they make some money, they want privacy.
Yeah.
They want maybe they're in a relationship and they want to move on their own. So that's what happens. But initially when they get to Accra, there's a hostel that they can't be and continue doing business with us.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is what Ejekume's story is about.
Wow, this is such a, I don't know whether to say a sad story or something we should celebrate, you know, for the fact that you've been able to put this project out.
Yeah.
May his soul rest in perfect peace. Now, whilst you're talking, I'd
like to acknowledge too that the Alikoto Music Consult, the distributors for Ohohwasem, have also relinquished their share for their family. So not only me, they also have relinquished their share for the family. Everybody is doing what they can to support Ejekume.
I think before we end the show, we end the segment this morning, we'll put out that if there's a mobile money number that people can also donate to in case it want to. I think he represents a certain group of people with this, a certain kind of lifestyle challenge, you know, hardships of life, realities of life, and the song should be a representation for them. Ham of the last two, it's always amazing how you're able to just identify. How did you even meet Ejekume before I come to my topic for this morning?
Well, Ejekume was a cleaner around the studio. Yeah. And I met him once. He was singing. Actually, he was sweeping and he was singing. And Amachi did this song. And I'm like, you're a singer? Then he says, not really. I don't sing, but I know how to sing other people's songs. So I asked him to come up with a song and see what I can do. And he was very happy about it. 1 week later, he came to the studio and he started telling me about his story, and he's trying to make a song about his story, what he went through in Accra. And it took off from there. So,
can we have this telephone number?
Yes. I will have to check it. No, it's on my Facebook. It's the woman's number.
It's okay. So the proceeds go directly to the wife of Ejekume, so that we can clarify that real quickly. We're going to get the number. Yeah.
The number is 054
054 10 46 702.
And the name on it is Stella Sapon. That is Ejekume's wife.
Okay, Stella.
Widow, actually.
Okay, so please be very, make sure it's Stella Sapon that comes on there. 054 1046 702. That's 054 1046 702. We'll display the number on the screen as well. So in case you want to donate to Stella Sapon, you can do that. The wife of the late Ejekume. Hammer produced that song.
Ohohwasem. Yes, Ohohwasem.
That's
the plight of a traveler.
054 1046 702. Yes, I hope my team got that as well. Okay, so when I was listening to the song, I was trying to see if I could relate to it in terms of it as a high life song over a hip hop beat.
That's exactly what it is.
Yes, so that's exactly what it is. Yeah. So recently, Shatawale was, put it out on social media with regards to us trying to develop or create a new music identity for Ghana, and it received a lot of heavy criticisms from industry pundits and players with regards to that we already have an existing genre, which is high life music. Now, it created a huge debate on social media, which of course you were a part of, but let's go back to the story of first high life music. Let's understand what makes a song to be called high life before we even come to it, whether it should be what represents us globally.
I think that is something that needs no explanation. We all know what high life is and what high life did for us. High life is Ghana. High life is our culture. When you hear high life, even in Nkrumah's time, when they are showing videos from Nkrumah's time, is the real high life you hear. So high life is a representative of Ghana. We all know that.
This was this something that was naturally, selected?
I wouldn't say I know the origins of High Life, but I know that it reminds me of where I'm from, which is Ghana. So Wale's argument was that he was sitting in front of investors. Now let's remember, investors don't care about your sentiments. We all know what High Life has done. We all know what High Life. We all know people came to steal the rhythms from here. Fela and all of them. Arnold made a great point. Fela and all these people came to bite what we have. So High Life is known already, like he said. But he's forgetting something. Investors don't care. Investors only care about numbers. So in front of Wale, if investors are asking, what do you represent? Do you have anything? What are the numbers? What makes your High Life even relevant? He was right. High Life, there is no High Life in existence when it comes to the international realm. And so we have to stop having sentiments and say, oh, our history, this, and start making it relevant in numbers. We didn't have to make Lumba a local champion. We didn't have to make all these greats, Amachi Dede and all of them, local champions. We could have made Amachi Dede sell arenas in South Africa, stadiums in Nigeria, even the continent alone. Let's not even go to Europe. They have no place here because of this each man for himself attitude that we have in Ghana. These guys could have taken over. We contributed into making them local champions, and their talent remained here. They might go to Europe and play some Ghana like community something, but the international domain, we failed to present them there. That is why High Life is not represented out there. Nigeria packaged the Afro beats and put it on the world stage. You see, and so I feel like there's a long way to go. We as a country need to be selfish. I hear about this 80% Ghana music, radio stations should play 80% Ghana music. It doesn't make sense. You can't falter a business.
Mustn't that be a start of conversation to try and...
Yes, but it has never worked anywhere. You can't impose on a business.
I thought they said Nigeria or South Africa has got something similar.
You can't tell Joy FM to play 80% Ghana music. You can only give them incentives. It's business. Everywhere, these things happen because it's business. You come to Joy, then you tell them that, look, the government, we are giving you incentives. You are eligible for tax relief on this magnitude if indeed you play 80% Ghana music. It is part of our agenda. Shouldn't it
be a conscious effort, regardless whether there's an incentive?
It has to be incentives.
Because this is what has contributed to us almost losing the side.
Nobody cares. Only facts. People care about what helps them. Even in America, the reason why you can see enough Buick and Cadillac and Chevys on the American roads is because of the incentives on American-made cars. It's not because they have told them, buy American cars to help our economy. Nobody cares. The reason why they are buying American cars is because when they buy the BMW from Europe, the tax on it is crazy. And you can't own a BMW unless you are a millionaire. Or you can't own these cars. You can only own these Chevys without tax. Incentives are important. Listen, when America passed the gay rights bill, I mentioned this the other day. When America passed the gay rights bill, they had an agenda. They needed to make sure that homosexuals are not discriminated against. In the next 10 years, our kids who are 5, 6 years old have to be able to see a homosexual and just pass by without looking at them with disdain or anything like that. So what they did was they went to Hollywood and they threw incentives. Look, if you put a gay relationship in your series, you are entitled to this tax relief.
Really?
Yes. Even 50 Cent was asked why his new book 2, Power Book 2, there's so much inside. He says, look, you can't get by without placing properly a relationship in your series. It has to be in there. incentives. You have to throw me a bone. Tell me why I should do this. Nobody cares. Look, strong arming and incentives are the way. Now, the strong arming part is when I mentioned that Ghana needs to be selfish. China is still not letting Facebook in. Facebook is still at the door begging China that we want to get in. China has a social network called WeChat.
Yeah.
They know Facebook would displace it when Facebook gets in. So they've blocked it. They have blocked it. I made an argument the other day that when our boys go to Nigeria and they want a TV interview, some pay. Some have to channel connections upon connections. But over here, when the video or Burna Boy gets here
struggle to get
and calls a radio station that I want to come, they will paint the radio station. They will let them run in there. We're not selfish enough. We need to block people as well. We need to make sure that we give priority to our people. And the only way to do that is to throw in incentives.
Let me ask this question. I know people will come hard at this question though, but let me just throw it to you. With the format of high life music, in modern day and age music, where it's comparison to all the hip hop and the Afrobeats, which now taking over the African continent, do you think that high life music is powerful enough
to get in there?
Yes, to get in there in terms of rhythm, in terms of it's
high life rhythm is timeless. High life rhythm will survive even in a hip hop beat. There's something that the guitar. High life rhythm is not really about the drums. It's the guitar. So if you watch how trends take up, it's always the drums that change. When the trap came, when the crunk came, when the raw New York hip hop came, when the drill, Pop Smoke's drill came, that is taking over now, all these trends were drums changing. But the rhythm, what makes the whole bounce possible, the Yampunsa thing that Zap used to play in and all those things don't go away. They will survive on any drum pattern. So we can change the drums, because there's Burger High Life and there's original High Life. All those things are High Life, but the drums are different.
Yeah.
So if we change the drums, we'll survive in this day. It's about surviving this day and moving with.
Producers now it's as if some of these elements of high life don't exist in some of the new songs we have. The new generation has got this new vibe and very crazy energy. They're dropping songs like Ekoso by Kofi Jamal, and these songs are going global now, hitting huge streams, whilst the ones that we think are supposed to be high life songs are not getting charted. They look old.
But fully,
what is happening?
All these people can promise Kofi Jamal, the new boys you're talking about, the Americans, Walasi, all these guys that you mentioned don't have a certain future if we don't fix the main thing I was talking about earlier. They might all be existing, having all these things, but there's a mess awaiting them. There's a mess awaiting them if we don't take up now and have a national agenda, a selfish Ghanaian national agenda.
You think there'll be a flash in the pan artist? They'll just come and go?
No, it's not about even the artist. It's about the agenda to sell our music. Even if it's high life or anything, we need to have a blockade. I'm happy Mark is in office now. I'm expecting him to call a behind closed doors meeting without the press. When the press comes in, it becomes a facade. It becomes a gimmick. Because now sensationalism sets in, and people don't want to hear the real issues anymore. I'm hoping Mark and senior man Awal,
yes,
Honorable Awal will take it up and call a closed door meeting, so we have a national agenda to fix this thing before these guys come of age. They are in their teens. They don't have children. They are mostly bachelors. We need to fix it before Kim Promise and the rest become men. We need to fix it. And when we fix it, the people can then say, I'm leaving the university to go and make music. It will make sense now.
Has the high life music changed? I'm asking that because we're going to come to what these new artists are doing now. There's an argument in the school of thought that what they're doing now is a contemporary high life.
Yeah,
is
but
this contemporary high life?
It doesn't matter, I feel fully. It doesn't matter what high life will become or has become or is right now. The only thing that matters is that the numbers don't show nothing. It's not out there. We don't have numbers proving what high life stands for. And so the issue is...
Could it be because people don't enjoy high life music?
No, it's non-existent. Nobody is even pursuing. We have just about 4 high life artists who are really on the top doing something. We don't have the excitement. It's not there because of the fact that we haven't packaged it properly. In Ghana, high life, like Arnold mentioned that these guys, a lot of people from other countries came here to bite tricks and, of the trade from high life. We are still messing around with this thing. We are still playing nice guy. Oh, high life, no. No, that is not the issue. The issue is that how do we package it and put it out there? It doesn't have to be even high life. Whatever we come up with.
Isn't there confusion? The reason why I'm talking mainly about how the identity, what should represent us, is that isn't there the confusion with regards to even what the high life is? Because now somebody might say, oh, Kim Promise does high life. Oh, Kwame Jin does high life. Oh, Kiddy does high life. But when you look at some of these artists that I've mentioned, is that high life as compared to the high life we know from Daddy Lumba? Or somebody will say that, oh, it is grown. But even if it's grown, is that...
Yeah, but you're not getting my point. My point is that is the window dressing. Let's focus on the main meal.
Okay.
The window dressing is what is high life really. Is Kim Promise doing it? Is Kwame Eugene doing it? That is not what is going to bring high life onto the world stage. That is internal bickering. We are trying to figure out who is not doing it right, who is not. We have to have one voice and present it to the world.
Isn't that what we are doing already, Hama?
We're not. It's each man for himself. Everybody's doing their own business. There needs to be a concerted effort. Mark has to call the industry to order. There needs to be a hierarchy. Listen, don't think that what's happening in America is by chance. It's deliberate. Clive Davis, Jimmy Iovine, Diddy, and the rest, they come together and say, look at this UK rap, grime. They don't stand a chance in America. They don't stand a chance in American music. They are blocked. UK is America's cousins.
Okay.
They call themselves cousins, and even they are blocking the UK rap from entering America. So if you don't, you have to penetrate.
How? So what strategies can we put in place so that we can make high life music the predominant music that when you enter our shores? Because hip hop has now become a culture. It is a way of life
everywhere.
Yes, exactly. So
coexisting with metal in the States.
Yes. How they dress, how they look, how they speak. So how are we going to be able to?
Youth music is a dominant sound. In the 80s, Michael Jackson and they would appeal to the youth. In the 70s, ABBA and what's his name? Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night. Bee Gees.
Bee Gees. You're talking like the UB40 and all those.
Bee Gees and those people were all appealing to the youth.
Okay.
Whatever music appeals to the youth is the dominant genre. You can't have something that is not appealing to the youth right now as the youth music, as the main sound.
They drive the
youth drives. You see, most of us, our best memories are when we're teenagers. The reason why when you hear a sound from when you were a teenager, you are touched is because those were the best years of your life. And so it is normal that you will feel that way when you hear them. So youth music is what dominates. We need to push youth music. if high life is not in
if
high life is not in demand right now for the youth, so be it. So it means that we are looking at the wrong area. Whatever area we because when the big men, when you get to a certain level, you stop being a music fanatic and start thinking only business. Music becomes a secondary issue, you know. But these stages, look, Snapchat, Instagram, hip hop is hip hop. You know, so I wouldn't want us to really focus too much on trying to package whatever we want to sell to the world now. Priority right now is to be a selfish country when it comes to the arts. Make sure that we don't let people penetrate, but we try to go out there a lot. If we let people penetrate, look, it's sad when you hear some of our boys sounding Nigerian.
Which I was about to just come.
They feel like this is in vogue. This is what is on. We need to sound like this. It is bad. It's because we are blocking.
But so that there are two problems here. So now we are sounding not Ghanaian. The youth who holds the stakeholders of the music, the ones who decide what we should listen to, what we should produce.
The dance, everything is the youth right now.
The youth now. They are not doing what can be termed as high life. So even if we block the entrance of the importation of foreign sound into our country, we've already diluted what we think.
No, but we don't really block it.
It's
incentives. Listen, we don't authoritatively block it. What we do is we incentivize the existing radio stations here, and it would die the outside music out.
Our biggest artists in Ghana, clearly I can say on authority, are dancehall artists and hip hop artists. And
they're the youth.
Yes. And clearly that means that the representation of our music out there globally is not hip life music.
Yes, but it doesn't matter. What matters, the priority, like I've said, you are the one who is championing what should we take out there, what should we take out there. Fine, that is
because the biggest artists in the US will be their pop artists, will be the ones who are doing their metal, the ones who are doing their hip hop.
Hip hop is the biggest.
Yes, I mean in that hierarchy. So that means representation of what their music is what is leading. So at any point in time, when you think of the US, names like the Jay-Z's come up, the Diddy's come up. I mean, I'm not well versed in that.
No, right now it's the Migos and the new boys
taking over.
They've taken over.
So
Roddy
that becomes their identity. If you go into the UK, they have theirs. If you go into South Africa, I mean, recently I just started having crazy interest in Kwaito music. I just jammed that all day, in the car. It is theirs for them. But when you come to Ghana,
yes,
again, our biggest icons are not high life artists.
Yes, but that should tell you something that we are imposing. If we have deciphered this, why are we pushing the high life to go? It means we are working against the energy. You see, you can only work with the flow. When water is flowing, you don't face it. You don't work against it. You tire yourself. So if this is what it is, let's just go with the flow.
But hasn't that been the reason why we don't have any identity?
On
the because we have gone with the flow for a very long time.
I think that you see, it is a process. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. 10 years is enough time to drive out. We need to dictate the narrative, and it takes just making sure that we are flooding Ghana with our great rich culture. Then when somebody comes here, he doesn't even want to hear something from outside. But unfortunately, we are not one. That brings me back to my point with Okreku. Okreku is in a position right now to start a national agenda where we will be a selfish country protecting our own. Now, once we figured out how to handle our own here, then we can export it. But before we export it, let's figure out making people, I mean, they have started with Friday wear. People should wear made in Ghana clothes on Fridays. The corporate world should do that. All that is good. But what you need really is to get the arts, which is the movies and the music, get them to push the Ghana agenda. And it's very simple. Shelley and Layla and all those people making great movies should be let should be incentivized to do Ghana-based movies, like to put the Kakun Forest in their movies, to put Valley.
So a conscious effort to try and use what we have in here, our own resources, to turn these things
to advertise.
Yes.
Listen, our airport is the talk of the continent. Everybody is saying, "Hey, Ghana Airport, Ghana Airport." Do you know how to promote the airport? You have to use the movies. Now, I'm not talking a movie where somebody is traveling and they pass the airport. I'm talking about a movie centered at the airport. Then, when it gets out, people will be like, "Wow, Ghana Airport," because the only people who know the airport are the people who work in here. What about the people who haven't been here? That is how to get. That's how they did Vegas. They promoted Vegas in movies, and Russians, Asians, and Africans went there to spend money. They even have a mantra. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. They're selling you a mantra saying that baby did some money. Nobody will tell anybody. We'll keep it quiet here for you. Come and spend your money. Do your worst, and nobody will take it. And it's actually Abu Semjem. It's called Sin City. They have packaged a city, an idea, and they have sold it to you, and you are coming to spend money, and the house always wins. Whatever money you bring there, you leave it there. Now, what about the airport? I envisioned on George Quay's show, I envisioned a movie where there's a plane has been hijacked from Nigeria, and they're out of fuel, and they have to land in Ghana. Then they land in Ghana, and the movie ends up at the airport. So the movie finishes at the whole movie.
That's a free concept to somebody.
But you would make a roundup.
Yes.
So the movie ends up at the airport, and the director gets to show the beauty of the airport. That is how you sell Ghana Airport. You don't go and shoot the airport and try and put it on Facebook to go. Nobody cares. You can only get people's attention when they are watching something exciting. Kakum, Mole Park, all these places should be. And what you should do is that when you do this, Sharif Manso, you are eligible for this grant from the government if you indeed bring our airport in your movie on that scale. If you bring Mole Park, if it's a movie about somebody who's been lost at the Mole Park, being chased by a killer or whatever, that whole park will be shown in beautiful light. You are eligible for this. So radio stations, you are playing Ghana music, you are eligible for this tax relief. You have to throw them a bone. Stop imposing by force. Play Ghana music, wear made in Ghana clothes, bring this.
Since everyone has a free will.
Everyone has a free will. Even in America, the first world, these people are even throwing bones at these people. Their own, listen, there are people who are going green. America has an agenda to go green. Solar and all. They are throwing incentives to car companies like Tesla who are going green. The tax is cut. So let's not reinvent the wheel. It has worked in other industries. So let's just do it.
You talk of encouraging the creative arts sector with incentives, as such, so that they are able to, we don't force, we're talking music, so force the play of what we know to be ours. Yeah. Let me ask you this question as well. Do you feel Ghanaian artists, assuming even all this is done, do you think Ghanaian artists have failed us in creating the sound of high life music?
Oh.
When I say Ghanaian artists, all the people in the value chain, producers, promoters.
But what you need to know is that we have the music on lock. The best thing that we have done in Ghana is great music. I remember when I was on top around 2000 and
You are still on top, sir.
Well, I remember when I was really in vogue. Okay. There was I think 2000, 2001. MOB, a rapper, a Hausa rapper, came to me and he said, "Oh, there's this guy outside. I want you to meet him. His name is Blackface. He's from a group called Plantation Boys. They are all in their car. Two-Face, Blackface, and some people. they want to enter the studio and see what we are doing. And I let them in. These guys didn't have listen, we were on top. The Nigerians were just listening to what I was doing. They were like, I didn't even know that will become Two-Face when he went solo. These guys, they were baffled. They didn't have a clue what we were doing. They took it, they went there to their place and they packaged it properly. Let me show you. If we have done anything right, it's the music. Okay. Creatively, we don't have a question. The boys, they play beat rough. The new boys are even doing crazy stuff. MOG, Fortune Dane. We have the creative on lock. The question you should be asking is, how do we package it? We need a hierarchy. I mentioned some years ago that we left these boys on their own because there's no hierarchy. When I was 2002, when Nana Kwame Bediako, Cheddar, came to Ghana after, he's been, he's a friend. I've known him since we were 12, 13 years old. So when he came back to Ghana, he heard that Ohama take over the country. So he came to my studio and he sat down with me. He said, look, I have connections with Virgin Music, this and that. We can do this thing. He wants to know the numbers. What are the numbers? What are we working with? Can we do this thing? He started Wonder World Studios Music. I helped him out with producers, Junite, Mawan. He recruited Scientific. Started something beautiful. But he kept asking, Hama, what are the numbers? I called Big Ben, I called Ekuya Bedu. Everybody was giving me their own numbers. There wasn't a centralized authority in the industry that could say, look, you have sold 1 million copies. Book back, you have sold 2 million copies. Everybody decided to tell the world whatever nobody knew anything. And Kwame lost interest in our industry because it wasn't structured and nothing was working. I was with him when he built his first 2 houses in East Legon. In his car, a Grand Cherokee and a Porsche. And he told me, Hama, this is the future. I watched an investor walk away and I couldn't stop him. Just because we didn't have a centralized authority that could assure him that if he puts this amount of money in the business, this is 2002, I was doing Makula Kwakwe. And this is what happened in the studio. And I watched an investor walk away and I couldn't stop him. Our issue is we don't have a centralized authority helping these boys out. Ken Promise is doing his thing. The R2Bs, they are doing their thing. Shatawale is doing his thing. Sakwadi is doing his thing. Nobody is helping these boys and saying, look, we have you on lock. So what about Gamro? Gamro is not even in the picture. They are just like a royalty. They're the last line of defense. Association musical is irrelevant. They are not doing what they're supposed to do. But the authority we need is not about these associations. Authority we need is a plan that is
a certain arm of government.
A national agenda, solid, which transcends party politics. It has to be bipartisan, because I don't want Mark to leave and Sadiq comes with NDC and decides that I'm changing everything. When Mark leaves and he comes, he needs to continue. We need to have a 20-year national agenda and say, the music industry, this is what we are doing. So NDC and MPP, please, when it comes to the arts, please put your differences aside. We can only win if the two of you decide that this agenda is for all of us. So Mark and Sadiq have a plan that, look, Mark, when you go where we come,
you speak as if Sadiq is the next...
He will be. It's obvious. It's obvious. I mean, it's obvious. It makes sense.
There's Hama has spoken on your behalf, so...
No, but me, I need a hype thing. It is clear. Sadiq is doing very well, and he's openly supported the NDC. So it's obvious that when Mark, who is the MPP man, leaves and Sadiq comes, he is going to either change the plan or go with the plan. We are pleading with the parties that leave politics out of this agenda. This agenda is a national agenda, and it should transcend politics.
So you feel the boys in this contest is the artists, and those in the value chain of the production have been left to do their own thing without anybody.
The artists are doing their own thing, not even the production.
Steps.
Not even the production. The artists, they are doing their own thing. He's not thinking about you anymore because nobody helped him. Nobody came to their aid. They did the music on their own. They will look for investor on their own, whether they even got one. Some are being helped by their parents, and they go out there and you want to tell them what to do. You didn't do anything for them. The industry failed them.
Does that give them a right to decide on individually on what to do?
Yes, it gives them a right to decide their future.
What about the sense of patriotism?
There's no sense of that. Okay. That's why I said incentives. You can't tell an American man that buy a Chevy. You can only say if you buy a Chevy, you don't have to pay tax. If you buy a BMW, we are hitting you with 30% tax.
I have about 8 minutes left. Let me just come back to major platforms like Three. You mentioned Sadiq. I'm a part of the Three Music Awards. Yes, I get myself involved in the Ghana Music Awards. Let me throw this question to you. These are major platforms, not to bash them in any way or criticize them in any way, but these are major platforms that promote what we have. I witnessed the Three Music Awards, spectacular event by all standards. I witnessed the Ghana Music Awards. I tweeted that, look, wow, artists, Charterhouse is going through all this just for you. Vodafone is putting in all this investment just for you. But there was a point that I wanted to ask you if I had a chance to, which is, the biggest category is the Artist of the Year, devoid of whichever category you find genre of music that you produce.
I think
would it have been a better option to have positioned high life music as our biggest artist?
No, we can't impose. And then again, I feel the criteria and the categorization, there's a problem there. I think it's flawed. I think that you can't depend on the public to choose the Artist of the Year. The Artist of the Year is a fact-based category. You can't sit down and say everybody vote. The one that gets the most votes should be the Artist of the Year. You can only give the Artist of the Year to somebody who, based on numbers, based on popularity, based on research and data, they are the biggest artists in the country.
And Hama, over a time, we haven't had, I don't know if we've had okay, I think last year, Kwame Eugene or so, I don't know if we'd like to call Kwame Eugene a high life artist, or he's an Afrobeat
The genres don't matter to me.
But there's no national interest in high life music to the point that we hardly see high life artists, champion. Because, I mean, as we sit here, Stonebwoy, Shatawale, Sako, these are some of the biggest artists, the biggest artists that we have, and they're all not even high life musicians.
Doesn't matter.
And the numbers are feeding to dance hall and hip hop.
It doesn't mean that we should.
Make highlight our representation, considering what is happening?
Let's not fight the energy.
But if we don't fight the energy,
Wale threw out an idea. He wasn't imposing on us by force. That's what we have to do. He threw a challenge. Look, should it be high life or something else? So. The water is flowing. Let's not fight against the water. Let's not approach the energy. Let's flow with the energy. If the people want this or that, let's go. But you see, you mentioned something about Sadiq and Ghana Music Awards and the rest. I feel like these are the people, when I spoke about incentives, Ignis. Ignis has done fabulously well when it comes to putting our boys out there. He really has represented our boys in a very beautiful way that when people watch Foresight TV around the world, they're like, wow, that's Ghana. And when you go to Ignis, and you have a video, Ignis is somebody who even goes to the extent of trying to ask you, your video, go do them again. He won't even just take your video because he cares about you too much, the way you look, that he will even play a role in trying to figure out how you should look before you even bring the video back. That is care. Somebody will just say, oh, make us see, bring money, I'll play for you. Ignis, no matter how much you're holding, or something, he won't even take money. He just wants you to look good so that he can put it out there and Nigerians will watch and be like, whoa, they're from Ghana. Ignis has done fabulously well. Abraham did very well with Fiesta. And Fiesta was also a platform. Sadiq has done fabulously well with 3 Music and making our boys look good. It's important that Mark summons all the channels of our showcase. These people I've mentioned, they occupy the showcase area. Some of us occupy the creative music area, making the thing happen. Now, after everything, how do you show it to the world? Sadiq, Ignis, Chatterhouse. These are the people who are showing the world what we have done. Let's incentivize their operations. Let's back them. Let them be eligible for some grants from the government where they can make, it should all be on the agenda. That's why I need Mark to call a serious meeting, devoid of press. When press comes in, it becomes a gimmick. It becomes some concert.
Who will be the persons to this meeting that you speak of?
He should decide. He should call. I would love to be there because I will dominate. I will make sure that they listen. That these are the clues. It is not rocket science. People have done it, but we talk. We keep going round and round, and it's hurting us.
But when we look at a country like Nigeria, which we always make reference to, was there any particular national agenda that we heard of that made...
Nobody heard of it. That is why. You see, the press is why... The reason why nobody heard of it is because it wasn't by the press. The Igwes, and they sat down with the boys and started giving the boys money, as in producing works for the boys, paying for making the boys look good. You didn't hear of it, and I don't expect anybody to hear of ours.
But it's the press that would put it out eventually.
No.
Or not yet.
The press can't know. It is industry press is behind closed doors. Listen, not all cabinet meetings allow the cameras in there.
Yeah.
I made an example with China. You see, China has an agenda to take over the world. Did you hear when they had that meeting? Did you hear about when they said, look, Africa is green? We are going into Africa. We'll throw a lot of money at them. We'll make sure that 20, 30 years, we own stuff, minerals from there, we own this. They didn't come and say the Chinese are doing a meeting about Africa. Did you hear that? We like photo ops. When I saw that, I had that meeting, I looked on my phone, I didn't get an invitation, and I said, yes, obviously, it's a gimmick. I don't expect that thing to happen. I expect a closed-door meeting with industry personnel sitting down and saying, hey, Charlie, 10 years' time, these boys are going to look good. These boys should be millionaires. Up to now, none of our boys have a Rolls Royce. It is unacceptable.
Well,
what they release? Big rephrase. Up to now, only one of our boys get Rolls Royce.
Interesting.
Starboy, I'm sorry. I forget saying some bad.
So in his statement, he made mention of us considering having one particular agenda, and then the country came hard at using High Life. Is there a possibility of looking at, because now Afrobeat
the country came hard at somebody that they think has no right to talk about these things. They didn't come at the idea. The idea was welcome. They just hate the person who brought the idea. Look, hate it or love it, Wale is a force. And people thought I was supporting Wale. I was supporting the industry. Because I hated the fact that he had just thrown an idea out and people were beating around the bush. People were focused on the window dressing. The issue he had put out was serious. And people kept talking about the part that didn't matter. Oh, High Life, we have been there. Falamunia before High Life. And today, the numbers don't show nothing.
Okay, so Amma, if I'm getting this right, this is where probably I'll push to see if we disagree.
Okay.
Let's drill down to the content creators, the producers and the artists. It is the responsibility of the fashion designer who wants to promote Ghana to use Ghanaian fabric designs to create what we have. It is a responsibility of the content creator, the fashion designer, to name the design something local. Now, all those things add up to what would come to without an organization or a body managing this system. same as the musicians. Now, for you, for an example, would you say you contributed to high life music with the kind of music that Hannah produced?
What is with high life?
Because that is what we say is supposed to be our representation.
No, that is an idea. That is a suggestion. Nobody is enforcing it. You see, it says somebody brought an idea. Let's talk about it. So I don't want it to be like high life is the thing that we have decided to do.
So we shouldn't settle on high life.
We should talk. Wale released an idea. Should it be this?
Are you saying that are you challenging the possibility of us looking at another genre of music to...
Nothing. We shouldn't be. We should just go with the flow. We should not fight anything. You see, when children don't do what you ask them to do. They do what you do. Do you understand?
Yeah.
They do what you do. Don't try and force a kid to not fart in public. Wrong example, eh? What you should do is you shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't fart in your living room. Because your kid is watching you. Your kid is watching you, and the next minute, he's going to go to a party and he's going to do that. So instead of saying, man, yes, sir, don't do it yourself, and he's watching you. Kids like to imitate their parents, like to imitate the older people. They want to see what you're doing, and they want to do some. Now, if you do the wrong thing, they will do the same. So, what an example.
What an example, sorry about that. But my time is actually fast spent on this conversation, but it's a very interesting conversation. Hama has mentioned, we're calling the Ministry of Tourism to set up a stakeholders meeting. One of the pointers you raised, behind closed door, devoid of media, to set a national agenda on this, to create incentives for people
for the outlets, the various outlets, the showcase outlets that I mentioned, and the creatives, because you can't say you're giving money to a singer to go and make music and come. Like the government should give people money. Like recently, I heard the government was giving people money to go and make music. What shows creatives don't need that. What they need is give them a reason and make it easier for them to do something. You know what I'm saying? You don't give somebody money to go and make a hit. What if it's not a hit? What if it doesn't become a hit?
So do you disagree or not? You said we should have a conversation about this.
The high life thing.
About the high life
thing. You have a for this high life thing.
Do you because when we think of certain countries, we know certain songs, certain genres that identify them.
Well, we had one that we were able to sell worldwide. And we abused it, and it fell off.
Which is?
Azonto. Now, Azonto was branded based on a particular swing, a particular move. We could have owned it. Big up to Fuse ODG, who did the most to put that out there. Now, the whole world had Azonto and Ghana. They affiliated a particular genre or bounce to Ghana. We could have taken it from there. And Azonto could have become a Kwaito. Azonto could have become Afrobeat. But we didn't have a national agenda of a couple of people sitting down and say, let's push this agenda. Everybody left it to chance. We leave too many things to chance. Sarkodie did his part and brought out the best Azonto song by far, You Go Kill Me.
Yeah, with EL.
Which moved. Produced by Crankman.
In
Shona Music.
Yeah.
Then that bounce up to now, I can't fathom the mathematics behind that bounce. It was beautiful. Fuse ODG continued and made it a worldwide thing. What stopped us from sitting down and saying, Fuse ODG has made Azonto popular. Let's take it and run with it. We could have made it. It could have evolved.
So are you saying this problem sits with leadership?
No. Still, the window dressing. Let's not focus on the window dressing. Let's focus on the main meal. It is not about who's to blame. It is about very plain terms, an agenda that wasn't set, because there's nobody doing anything. everybody's doing their own thing. So if we have about 4 or 5 people say, let's summon the most influential people in the industry, from DJs to producers.
Yes, yeah.
The producers dictate the pace of the movement. So all dance is dictated by the producer. And they encourage the artist or the, what is the word? They inspire the artist to create some kind of music. And the dancers too move after that. So we get all these people, including the people who are giving us the visuals and the showcases. The showcases are the Ignaces and the Sadiqs and Abraham, Fiesta.
And all the channels.
The channels. These are the showcase people. We have a channel that goes to the end, from the beginning to the end. And we decide that, how do we make Azonto stay for good as like Kwaito? Hip Life, Reggie single-handedly created a genre, Hip Life, and up to now the name is there. So if Hip Life was able to stand by one person making noise about an idea, why couldn't we use Azonto to like follow up this? Because somebody already made it popular in the world. So well, I'm not saying Azonto as an example.
As an example.
Yes, Azonto is a swing.
Yeah.
It's a particular swing. And people moved with that swing.
Yeah.
And if that swing was encouraged to move further, it would have been our representation. And by now, Afrobeat would probably be the name Azonto.
It could have happened like that. I was interested. I spoke to quite a number of DJs over the weekend, and I asked them about when they are playing at parties and social gatherings, and they are playing Nigerian as compared to Ghanaian music. And a lot of them go back to me and said that, well, sometimes when we drop the Ghanaian music, the vibe dies. And but that's another conversation that we'll be having later on. How can we push ourselves to love what we have across board? We start off with music. I definitely get Hammer in the studio again for this conversation.
Yeah.
My time is up, but thank you so much, Hammer. 054-1046-702. That's 054-1046-702 is a number to send. The name is Stella Sapong. If you want to help and contribute to Ejekum's widow, yes, the late Ejekum.
And three children. He had three children as well.
Yes, beautiful music produced on there. It's a high life style of singing over a hip hop beat. A national agenda. My name is Jay Foley. It's been the legendary Hammer of the last two joining me here in the studio this morning for our conversation. We'll be back. Our conversation on music isn't done, but it doesn't end, or it ends on today's show. Coming up next, let's go into relationship conversations as well. Hammer, to interest you, the problems that people are having in their relationships.
I'm saying, listen, me, I'm not going back to that.
Not going back.
Just make an appeal to Mark.
Yes.
To make this thing happen.
It will definitely happen.
He has the key.
Yes.
And he has to make it happen. Well,
Honorable Marco Krikumanto making things happen, definitely. We trust and believe in him. Well, anyway, coming up next, let's join MFR. She comes on next.